think there are a lot of interesting facts. And I do like talking about this. So Singapore is really small. It's like whenever you travel, you have to kind of fill out where you're from, and they list like city, state, country. And if you're from Singapore, they're all the same thing because it's a city, state, country. And it's small enough that you could put the whole of Singapore in Utah Lake, probably. But we have a population of 5 million, and the government's still hoping to grow it. And so there's a lot of people. It's probably almost as dense as Hong Kong. And I think, interestingly, I think we have the same population as New York City. So in a lot of ways, New York City felt a lot more like home than Utah does, because there's so many people, and it's always like the city is always alive. And Singapore is kind of like that. You can always find places to go no matter what hour of the day it is. And yeah, like the thing that people kind of know about is that it's really strict, I guess, in the sense that there are a lot of really strict laws. And that's kind of true. A lot of people think that it's illegal to chew gum in Singapore. And that's not super accurate. It is illegal to sell gum. But you could buy gum in the US or in Malaysia and take it back home. That's probably fine. And I think the reason behind that is because we are a super clean city, and so we don't like people spitting gum on the streets and like creating those black marks that you find around here or something like that. Maybe that's the reason. But yeah, there are like huge penalties on littering or spitting and things like that. And there are also really strict laws on like drug smuggling. You could probably get the death sentence for smuggling a couple grams of drugs, something like that. If you kill somebody, you probably get the death sentence as well. So it's, in that sense, it's pretty strict, but it's also really safe. And so that's one thing that I really like about it. I can go anywhere I want at any time of the day and not feel like I'm going to get mugged or anything like that. We recently had a riot occur in Singapore. And I don't think there's been a riot in Singapore for like 40 years or something. And so it came out on the Singapore papers. It was a really big deal. It came out even like on the BBC or something like that. And I heard this lady who was from London talking about it, and she said she was talking to her daughter about it. She's like, "Oh, do you look at the papers? There's like, it was talking about the riot," and she said, "Singaporeans must be shocked. They should come to the UK. There's a riot there like every day." And I thought about it, and it's like, yeah, that's true. We don't really have any rioting or any kind of that type of thing going on in Singapore, so it's really safe, and that's why we get a lot of foreign investment, I guess, because they bank on Singapore being really safe, especially compared to countries around it. And another interesting thing about Singapore is that we speak English. Like, everyone speaks English, but if you're from another country and you go there, there's a really high chance that you wouldn't understand a word that we say, because we speak like maybe 98% English with 2% like other languages mixed in, and we mix it so randomly that, and such a crazy accent that most people can't understand what we're talking about. And so sometimes I think Singlish is what we call it, like Singaporean English. And to me, it's like a more efficient way of speaking English, because if you have long words, we like chop them up, make it shorter. So like never mind becomes ne mind and things like that. And there are times when like I'm speaking Singlish to like my siblings or to my mom on the phone, and then I get off the phone and my roommate's like, "Were you speaking Chinese just now?" And so that's like kind of another unique thing about Singapore, is that we all speak Singlish. So yeah.